Well, good evening, everybody. As expected, today turning out to be a stormy day. First for the valley, we're going to get into the snow in the Sierra and in the foothills too. If you're thinking the rain so far has been underwhelming, well, just give it a few hours. I think tonight and tomorrow is going to be soggier along Highway 49. This is kind of an interesting storm setup where rather than things coming in from the west, they're coming in from the south. So we're not seeing the case where our foothills totals are going to be double what we see down in the valley. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about how much rain we've seen so far. We'll track radar. We'll track how much snow we're expecting, when are the better times to travel in the mountains. A little bit of a spoiler, the best time was today. Tomorrow is when things will start to go downhill, but we'll talk about how long that'll last, when things will clear up, because there is plenty of sunshine in the 7-day forecast. It's really just the next couple of days where we're talking about that stormy weather. So let's cue up the radar here. It'll take me just a second. Earlier today I had this queued up along with our traffic flows since we had heavy rain during the evening commute. I wouldn't have wanted to be on the roads this evening around the valley, especially not for the first big rain of the season. There's a lot of people that are still kind of trying to remember how to drive in the rain. We always see a lot of that. So when I have the radar zoomed out here, you won't see the traffic flows, but we can get a little bit closer in just a bit. But yeah, just a really good soaking rain. It started up around Sacramento right before our 4 o'clock newscast. I know that because I had to run out to my car right before we went on TV, and what did I leave in my car? My umbrella, of course. Fortunately, it wasn't raining all that heavy, so you can kind of dodge between the raindrops there, but man, this is some really soaking rain here. Down into Alameda, getting into Santa Clara County, around San Jose. San Jose is now clearing out, but keep in mind, if you're familiar or unfamiliar with the geography of this area, it's hilly here, so the hills may be kind of enhancing these rainfall rates a little bit. It's also chilly, so the radar may be pointing up kind of high into the clouds, picking up on maybe a little bit of melting snow as it's on its way down. Now when I say melting snow, I mean thousands of feet up. I don't mean anywhere close to the ground. It's not that cold. But this radar may be a little bit overdone. Still, that's a good soaking rain along 101 there from San Jose to Hollister. Monterey got some good rain earlier. Soledad getting some good rain too. Getting a little bit of a break into Merced, Stanislaus, and eastern San Joaquin County. That initial band of rain has come through. But Stockton, Livermore, San Ramon, Concord, all going to get some heavy rainfall. And yeah, look at that, the red there showing some slow going in the eastbound lanes. That's over the Altamont Pass. That's typically kind of a slow spot though. Not seeing too many issues on the roads around Stockton. It's 8 o'clock in the evening, so most people probably in for the night, especially on a night like this. I was talking to our web manager. His son had cross country and soccer today. Wet for both, especially for soccer this evening. But this is good. This is a really good soaking rain. The rainfall numbers are stacking up really quickly. Nice to see that, especially in October. It's not unusual for this time of the year, although this is somewhat of a strong storm for this time of the year. It's nothing like, you may remember the bomb cyclone from, 2021. Yeah, this is nothing like that, but a good soaking rain. So while people get checked in, I'm going to call up some of the rainfall totals so we can see where we stand right now. Numbers were going up pretty quickly when Dirk and I were looking at 6 and 7, so that was nice to see. Let me just get this to where you guys can see it, because I have a full screen. You guys do not. All right, that's pretty good. All right, so these are the 24-hour rainfall accumulations. So since 8 o'clock yesterday, this is the California Nevada River Forecast Center. When Dirk and I or anybody else on the weather team were looking at rainfall totals, this is where we go. You can get these numbers too. Just Google California Nevada River Forecast Center. It should be one of the first links that comes up. I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, but it's just a section of the National Weather Service. They share an office with the folks in the Sacramento office. Here's a closer view of Sacramento. So Nope, that's not Executive Airport. Ah, there's Executive Airport. 6/10 of an inch of rain so far. And again, that's as of 7:56 this evening. So it's still raining. These numbers are still going up. No surprise that the east side of the valley so far seeing less rain, and the west side seeing more. Fairfield close to an inch of rain so far. Vacaville, similar numbers. This is at Sweeney Creek. There's Mount Vaca. Gregory Hill. If you live in that area and you're familiar with those areas, a lot of these places, you know, I'm not familiar with a whole lot of them. I just look for the major reporting sites. Yuba City, Marysville, the airport at Marysville, just over a quarter of an inch of rain. And Stockton, about 0.15 to 0.2 of an inch of rain. Modesto hasn't seen much yet, at least according to this gauge, 5/100 of an inch, but there is some steadier rain on its way in. Look at some of these numbers here. Coastal mountains north of Santa Cruz, 2.5 inches of rain. Haven't seen any flooding, which is good. There may be certainly some ponding on some roads anytime we get our first rainfall of the season, just kind of flushes the system out. But yeah, these numbers are nice. So far so good. I mean, the rainfall numbers are playing into about what we expected between today, tonight, and tomorrow, expecting maybe around an inch of rain in most valley spots. Where we see some hit and miss showers tomorrow, those places will see closer to 1.5 inches of rain, but just a good soaking rain for the entire valley. This puts a pause, and hopefully a good long pause, on our fire season. That's all going to depend on whether it keeps raining through November and December and January. We know we get a few weeks of dry weather, those grasses are the first to dry out. But this is a really good start for October so far. Sam is checking in on my Facebook page. T-storm chances for Modesto. Yeah, there could be some thunder in the San Joaquin Valley tomorrow afternoon. We'll take a look at Futurecast in just a second. I don't think it's going to be anything widespread, but a couple little downpours, some rumbles of thunder could pop up. But what's good about getting all this rain right now is that the fuels will be nice and wet. So even though we're talking about potential thunderstorms and lightning, I'm not worried about that lightning starting a new fire because we've got a decent amount of water in the ground right now. Vicki is also checking in from Oakdale. Vicki's a regular. Good to hear from you, Vicki. Timothy says, just enough to smear the dirt on the car. Timothy, let me know where you're checking in from. I bet you're on the east side of the valley or into the foothills. Yeah, we have not seen much rain there yet. I'm not surprised by that. That's going to change tonight and into tomorrow. We'll take a look at Futurecast in just a second. And nothing on the KCRA YouTube channel just yet. So I am checking in on both. Douglasville Dietrich is checking in. Dave is also checking in on my page. Good to see you guys. All right. Let's call up Futurecast here. Because tomorrow it's not going to rain as heavily as what we've seen today, but it is just going to be one of those kind of damp and kind of chilly, kind of winter-like days. There's going to be a lot of spots in the valley that don't make it out of the 50s tomorrow. I know I have a morning run scheduled, and part of me really likes to run in the rain, and part of me knows just how hard it is to get out the door when it is raining, especially when it's chilly. All right, so here's Futurecast. It's doing pretty well this evening. It's highlighting that area of heavier rain in the South Bay, although this is getting a little ahead of itself. It's moving a little bit fast because this is actually just off to the west. But notice it's not showing much snow in the Sierra, and we haven't seen much yet. But this system is going to hang out for at least another 24 hours, so we got time. Just be patient. All right, there you see, this is overnight tonight. This is when the foothills from southern El Dorado County through Amador, Calaveras, Tuolumne County, this is when you will get your rain. Likely looking at about 1/2 inch to 1 inch with that wave. And then here's 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. So this is hit and miss showers. Everybody's going to be socked in with the clouds when the sun comes up tomorrow. It's going to be a gray day. It's going to be a day where maybe it's a little harder to wake up because it's not going to be as bright. Roads are going to be wet. I would expect I-5, 99, 80 to be wet. I would also expect chain controls over Donner Summit here. and over Echo Summit on the south side of Lake Tahoe. Probably over 88 over Carson Spur as well. The snow level tomorrow morning will be around 7,000 feet, but by the afternoon, we finally get some cooler air to move in. So this is 6 o'clock Tuesday evening. Sun's just about down. Snow level's down close to 6,000 feet. So this is when the South Shore of Lake Tahoe will pick up at least a little bit of slushy snow. We're talking maybe an inch or two there. But notice how the rain just kind of picks back up again in the valley. Yeah, it's just going to be one of those drizzly days where if you're retired or if you've got the day off and you don't have to be anywhere, tomorrow's one of those days where if I wasn't working, I'd probably be cozied up with a nice book or a favorite streaming show and just watching the rain. It's going to be one of those kinds of days. As we go into Tuesday night, this is when the snow really starts to pick up. So again, this is a long duration kind of storm where first we're seeing the impacts in the valley, and then for the next 24 to 72 hours or so, that's when we see the snow picking up in the Sierra. So patience for viewers in the mountains, or better yet, if you're planning on traveling in the mountains, tomorrow morning's probably still okay. It's going to be wet. It's not going to be pleasant, but you probably won't have the issues with the chain controls just yet. That's really tomorrow afternoon and into the overnight hours tomorrow. That's when the snow is going to be at its best, at least according to that model. So how much snow are we talking? Give me a second to cue that up. If you haven't looked at the forecast since I was with you on Friday, these numbers look very different. I feel like the snow, it's in a good way. I feel like a good water year, it's in a good way. Yeah, we've taken these numbers up quite a bit. Just giving it a second to load in.
That's not gross. Can you send us any video or pictures?
There we go.
If you want to email us at news@kingsbury.com or...
All right, there's what we're expecting snowfall-wise. And again, this is over the next 72 hours, with most of the snow, especially for the Tahoe area, really occurring in the last 24 hours of the next 72 hours. So really the focus today was on the rain. We've had reporters up, just kind of keeping an eye on the roads in the mountains, but haven't seen any issues yet, which is good. But the same thinking still holds as far as where we're going to see the bigger numbers. That's all going to be south of Highway 50, up to 2 feet of snow at Ebbets Pass, close to 3 feet of snow in Sonora Pass. By the way, Monitor, Sonora, and Ebbets Pass all temporarily closed. They'll be shutting them down for the season, I assume, fairly soon, within the next month or so. We'll let you know when that happens, of course. South Lake Tahoe, lower elevation than Donner and Echo Summit, so again, only expecting a few inches there, but still nice to get a little dusting of snow there. Donner Summit, up to a foot of snow. So that's snow. Here's what we're talking about rain-wise. Yeah, this is great for rain. Inch to an inch and a half up and down the valley, especially on the east side. We've already seen about an inch of rain into Solano County. So those numbers kind of overperforming a little bit. Up to a couple of inches in the foothills, especially south of Highway 50, where we're going to see the bigger snow numbers too, of course. So kind of following along the pattern there. Yeah, it's all good stuff. Just calling up some of the Caltrans cameras so we can take a look. And again, these are all sites that you can check at home. Here's the camera at Castle Peak. Looks like everybody's getting through okay. There's Donner Summit. We show this one on TV all the time. Yeah, it's dark, it's hard to see much of anything, but you kind of get the idea. Traffic's moving along fine. There may be a little bit of slush in the embankments there, but that's about it. There's Echo Summit. You can see the cars going around the bend there. I love that view coming into the Lake Tahoe area. It's just gorgeous, although with a system like this, you're probably not going to see much from Echo Summit looking down towards Tahoe. It's going to be a little misty there. All right, there's a look at some of the rain totals again. going to give us a really good start to the water year too. Those are numbers that we're going to look into a little bit more tomorrow. You know, where does this put us at for the season? The water year just began on October 1st. So, you know, if we look at snow numbers by the time we get to Thursday and Friday and, you know, someone says, oh, we've got 500% of average snowfall, that very well could be the case. But when you're only 2 weeks into the water year, yeah, a good early season storm like that, it's going to blow those numbers out. You go, you know, 1 or 2 dry weeks, it comes right back down to what's typical. But yeah, really good to start the season out like this. All right, let's check in on some of the comments. Kyle is checking in, complimenting my hair. Thanks. Kyle's asking about Tuolumne County going to get hit hard with rain. I don't know if I'd use the word hard. You will get some rain in Tuolumne County, and it's going to be a nice beneficial rain too. That'll be overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Rhonda says they love the rain. I do too. Yeah, it's a nice change of pace, this nice steady rain. Bet is saying a little bit of rain in Plymouth. Yeah, it's just kind of trying to get started in the foothills. This is all going to push a little bit farther east overnight. Leroy saying still not much in Turlock, Hillmar, but hopefully a good amount tonight. Yeah, there's a few more bands of rain that'll come through. It's just kind of working its way through slowly. Sally has to take her cat Danny to the animal dermatologist in Rockland. Looks like it'll be an interesting drive. Yeah, it's not going to be raining quite as hard tomorrow, especially if you're going in the afternoon. The roads are going to be wet. It's not going to be windy like what we saw today before the rain kicked in. So, Sally, it should be an okay drive. But yeah, just leave yourself maybe an extra 5-10 minutes depending on how far you have to go. More or less just to give yourself a buffer from all the other drivers. Pamela says, family coming into Reno tonight to pick up at the airport at 10 and then back down to the foothills, all okay with 4-wheel drive. So family coming into Reno, so driving up and over the hill, 10 p.m. tonight, and then back down to the foothills. That's a long night. And that's some really nice family. Yeah, getting up and over Donner Summit overnight tonight, you know, the roads are wet right now. Snow level's probably going to stay up around 7,000 feet or so, and we really haven't seen the precipitation pick up either. So if their timeline is overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, yeah, it's going to be fine. You know, they'll have to slow down. We haven't seen chain controls yet. We may not before midnight tonight. After we get past midnight, that may change. But again, that snow level is going to stay fairly high. It's really tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. That's when that snow level comes down. And that's when anybody trying to get from, say, I don't know, Roseville over to Reno or up to Truckee or up to Donner Summit or Soda Springs, that's when you're going to run into some of those slowdowns. Same thing goes along Highway 50. Much slower tomorrow evening than this evening. Diana says that she is happy for the rain. Yeah, me too. Just checking in on some of the comments here. All right, I think we've covered all the big stuff. We'll go back over to the radar just real quick. Yeah, there's that heavy band of rain moving through the South Bay. Someone checked in from Turlock saying they haven't had much yet. Well, yeah, here's your much. That's coming. That you'll hear that on the rooftop tonight for sure. We'll see. And it looks like it's holding together pretty well too, even as it moves past the coastal range and into central Stanislaus County and central San Joaquin County. That's a good soaking rain. It's a little bit lighter farther up to the north. But yeah, there you see. Nothing really for the Sierra yet. We had that little dusting this morning. That will be picking up later on tonight. All right, very good. Well, thanks for joining me for this little 20-minute weather chat. I got to get ready for our 10 o'clock news and our 11 o'clock news. More rain and snow to track. So we'll have updates on how much rain we've seen, what your Tuesday's looking like, and of course, it's Monday, but we can always talk about the weekend, even if I'm sure a lot of folks had the day off today. Weekend looks really nice so far. And of course, Sunday is Ironman Day for Sacramento. Big day here. A lot of people are going to be outside all day and most of the night. So we'll take a look at that forecast too. That's all coming up tonight at 10 and 11 o'clock over on KCRA. Hope to see you there, and we'll do more of these live chats as the storm works through. I'll see you again right here tomorrow evening. All right, have a good night, everyone.